Earlier today, I posted a video about why you shouldn't waste your time talking to venture capitalists. And I told a little of my own story about how I raised venture capital years ago, how after a market crash, they backed out and it killed the company. And one of my followers had a question. They said, how can they back out? You know, they have a contract. Well, that's true, but they will employ all kinds of ways to get out of the deal if they can. So for example, in the case of my deal, we had gone with an incubator back in the 90s. They take a majority stake in your company and they would pitch you as being able to do your HR and your legal and your finance and your accounting, and they're kind of a pain for the founder. So we gave them a majority stake in the company. Big mistake. So they had 3 board members and we had 2 board members. And one day out of the blue, we got on a call and they said, all those in favor of dissolving the company say aye. And they had 3 votes and we had 2. So there was nothing we could really do about it. So they dissolved the company, and yes, we could have fought it because we did have a contract. However, right after that phone call, they had process servers at our door, and they served me and my co-founder with papers suing us for fraud. And to demoralize us, I think I was like 35 at the time, they put on my papers 40-ish, and on his they put pudgy. It's just a little extra bit of assholery that they pulled. We did have a pretty high-powered lawyer. We went and we met with him. He told us they knew that they were contractually in the wrong, but they were just going to be as nasty as possible in order to just shut the whole thing down. And we also found out that because they did our accounting and our finance, that they had never fully funded us. We raised $3 million and they only put $1 million in our bank account, which was depriving us of interest. And keep in mind, all of this happened in the space of like 3 or 4 months. So it wasn't like we weren't, paying attention. Like, it all happened very, very fast. Our lawyer said, look, you could sue them, you're in the right, but all of your money is going to get taken up by lawyers. And of course, I mentioned in my earlier video that I was pregnant at the time. He said, I don't think you want to spend your whole pregnancy dealing with this. He said, all your money will just evaporate with all the legal fees. And he said, and they know that, and that's why they're doing it. So what we ended up doing is we settled. And by the way, they wouldn't even tell us what our accounts receivables and our accounts payable outstanding were. They had all of that information because they were running all of that part of the business. So it was hard to know what to settle for because I didn't even know how much money we owed to our vendors. So we ended up settling for about $400,000, and then I spent like the next 3 or so months shutting the company down, paying outstanding bills, bringing in as much revenue as we could. The story just goes to show you that while they were contractually obligated to fund the company, they were willing to do a lot of nefarious, underhanded things to get us to back down. I've heard similar stories from other founders when they take on venture capital. They have board seats that go to the investors, and the people on the board can make their lives miserable. They can push them out. They can push them to run the business in the way that the founders really don't think is a good idea to do. You lose control, be put into situations that do damage your company, compromise your vision, and may even lead you to have to shut down your company and shut down your dream. Because you have a contract, just because you have a deal, doesn't mean that things are going to end well. So that's why I always recommend that you bootstrap your company for as long as you can if you are going to raise money, because that's going to give you more leverage, or you just bypass it altogether, building a pipeline, building revenue, building sustainable profitability. And if you can get to that point, you might not ever need anyone else's money. Hope that helps.